And I was excited when I saw Shamea and the birthday episode and how great Shamea was. And Shamea was going to be the star. And now here we are at the third episode of the reunion and Shamea is not the star. And how quick it can turn, right?
Well, you could say that maybe Porsha sensed the same thing. I mean, she showed up to her birthday party 3 hours late.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So were you trying, again, I said it last week, like Portia's been off for a little while and this was her, comeback season, right?
Right.
She's coming back. So maybe Shamea stole a little bit of her thunder by becoming a full-time housewife and she didn't like it.
Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion Part 3. This is it. Final one.
Yep. I thought this episode flew by the way.
Yes, it did go by. It did go by quick. So we start out, we're finding out kind of where we left off before, what the issue was between Porsha's mom and Shamea's mom. So we find out that they were best friends and they were both in the childcare business. They were actually friends before Porsha and Shamea. That's kind of how they became friends, right? And Porsha's mom's business was under foreclosure. And as soon as Shamea's mom found out about it, she bought it right out from under her in the foreclosure. And the way Porsha's mom found out that her mom bought it was they were driving by and they saw her taking down Porsha's mom's sign and putting up Shamea's mom's sign, which is a hard way to find out.
Well, Shamea is maintaining that they were not speaking for years leading up to that situation. And there was a lot that happened before that.
Right. That is what she's maintaining. So either way, I mean, the moms had a falling out.
Right. Things weren't good.
Right. They were not good. They were not good. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
And Shamea said, we're not going to talk about that because that's going to go in a whole different direction. Whatever happened leading up to that.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to speak on it. And, everyone agreed. Even Andy's like, no, we're not going to talk about that. Although at first he did try and push.
Yeah.
But then he did back off, which I'm glad he did. Then Cynthia jumps in and says Britt was the one that said you were showing text messages, meaning Shamea was showing text messages that Porsha was sending to her. Andy asks Shamea if she has any regrets, things she would have done differently during the season. And she said that she regrets that she had shared her friendship problems with these ladies. And she's referring to Angela, Kelly, and Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually all seem to really take offense to that.
Yes, I agree. But I think what Drew said was spot on. Like, she finally felt like she was in a safe space to say what she needed to say. She clearly really felt this way.
Right.
And she felt like she was in a safe place to do so. I mean, I guess Angela's the one that ran back to Porsha and told her.
Right. And Angela admits that it was she's the one that did it, right?
Yeah. So, don't take it out on Kelly and Drew.
Right.
And Drew kept saying, like, I didn't run back. I did not run back.
Right. So Andy says to Porsha, it seems like that you had a hard time prior to the show with, I'm assuming you meant with Shamea. And then she goes on to say that she had a private friendship that included Shamea with people that are not on the show. And people in that private friendship were saying that Shamea was saying that I wasn't happy for her to get the peach, to be a full-time housewife. And Porsha said, Andy, didn't I want her to be a full-time housewife? And Andy supported her. She said, yeah, you did want that.
And I honestly don't think Andy would say it if it weren't true.
I don't think he would either. think he would either. And I think that is, in fact, the truth. I do think that Porsha didn't try and block that. I do think that she wanted that for Shamea, right?
So maybe Shamea's expectations were just a little too high.
Right. That's what I'm thinking maybe. And Porsha said in interviews when someone asked you, like, how our friendship was, your response was, well, now I have a peach and it's not good. So Porsha felt like Shamea was making it something that it wasn't. and was perpetuating that in interviews and in the media to make herself look better. And the interesting thing is about this whole situation, I remember when we saw the first episode, and I was excited for Atlanta to come back because I've always loved Atlanta. And I was excited when I saw Shamea and the birthday episode and how great Shamea was. And Shamea was going to be the star. And now here we are at the third episode of the reunion, and Shamea is not the star. And how quick it can turn, right?
Well, you could say that maybe Porsha sensed the same thing. I mean, she showed up to her birthday party 3 hours late.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
fucked up.
yeah.
So, were you trying again, I said it last week, like, Portia's been off for a little while, and this was her, comeback season, right?
Right.
She was coming back, so maybe Shamea stole a little bit of her thunder by becoming a full-time housewife, and she didn't like it.
So I think, and I don't know. I mean, I think it could have turned once Phaedra came on. So because then it comes up, Shamea said you all had that conversation that said I was screwing Kandi and Todd because Shamea's like, you could have ruined my marriage with those statements. And then Porsha said, well, I kissed Kandi in the club and you kissed Kandi in the club. And then Kelly asked Drew, did she just say that they both kissed Kandi in the club? And she's like, yeah, they did just say that. So that goes back to that whole conversation that they had back in 2016 when Phaedra made that comment that Shamea was sleeping with other people and Porsha didn't have her back. So what that says to me is that this whole problem has actually been going on since 2016.
Right.
And it's just really coming to light now.
Right.
Because Shamea felt a certain way about it, but kind of brushed it under the rug, like didn't really bring it out. But then when it came that Phaedra was going to be on this season, because when she started this season, Phaedra wasn't going to be on this season.
Right.
Right?
Let me ask you something. Do you really think Phaedra brought anything to the show? Because I personally don't. I think we would have been just fine if they let Kenya go and we didn't have Phaedra. I think there was enough here we didn't need to bring Phaedra in.
I actually tend to agree with you. And I love Phaedra. I do.
And I know she wasn't here for long. I mean, we had the whole Marcus mess, but I'm sorry that I even said his name.
Yeah, don't give him any light.
Exactly. But yes, you're right. Shamea did not know Phaedra was coming. Nobody knew Phaedra was coming. So maybe that did turn things around for her because that's where the rumor came from back then.
Right. And, Porsha said, Phaedra's the one who brought it up that this came out in 2016. And she's like, Portia's like, I've been asked the same questions of you as that you've been asked. And I never said anything about it. Like she let it go. And Phaedra earlier in the reunion said to Shamea, I thought that you and I had a conversation and that we kind of squashed this. Like I shouldn't have said that and everything was okay. Like you just said it was okay. But then we find out in the reunion that although she said it was okay, it still really bothered her because it got brought up again at Porsha's event. And all the ladies agree that Shamea's biggest issue is that she feels a certain way about things and doesn't speak up about them at the time and just kind of lets it fester, right?
Well, probably being a friend of the show, like you want to keep your foot in there, but you don't want it to get too messy because you don't, you're not getting paid to really, bring it.
Right.
So maybe she just figured like as a friend, she's not going to bring this stuff up because then she's really going to have the spotlight on her. She's really going to have to perform and
yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see how honestly this next season goes because I feel like this is all old stuff that we're talking about. Like this is all old stuff, right?
Yeah, like can we resolve it before the next season?
Right. So we're going to have to wait and see because, Shamea said, like, I thought, Portia's like, I thought we had a beautiful friendship. And Shamea's like, well, I did too until I found out you didn't come to my wedding in Kenya because we were beefing, which is, that's a big thing for her to find out this way and on the show. And Porsha said, there's nothing that can be done to mend this friendship. She does She doesn't feel comfortable and has nothing else to offer. And Shamea's like, well, that's the difference between us, because when I didn't feel like I had the bandwidth and I was going through a lot, like I still would put the work in. And that's why people called me your lapdog. And I kind of agree with her. I do agree with her. But they both agree that they just want peace for both of them. I think we'll have to wait and see. I think that the way that ended, it's not that the door is closed. I think that they may just need time, and hopefully they can start out a next season okay.
Well, Kelly said that she and Shamea have built a beautiful bond, and she hopes that Porsha and Shamea can work it out.
Yeah.
And Porsha said this is not Shamea's moment.
I didn't clock that. I did
Yeah.
clock the first part of it, but I did not clock the second part of it.
But I don't think Porsha's letting Shamea have her moment. I think Porsha likes to play the victim, quite honestly. And I don't think Porsha's a victim at all, not in any sense of the word.
No, I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
She likes to play the victim.
We're going to have to wait and see, right?
Yeah. Like, we get it. You had a rough year, but this is your friend, and she couldn't even give her 5 minutes to talk without cutting her off.
No, it's true. She couldn't. It's true.
Yeah, but she'll go on for 10 minutes about how things affected her.
All right, so then next thing I have is what?
I got Dennis telling his barber that he's there to support Porsha and Drew.
Oh, yeah, I know.
He's there to support Porsha and Drew?
All right. So then Andy says, Drew, we watched you with a divorce with no end in sight. The judge ruled to unseal the divorce, and he still gets to live in the basement. The kids are all in therapy after the conversation with her mom. I was glad to hear that, because he asked, like, what's going on? And, but then we find out, I didn't know about this tweet, that after the conversation with her mom, then Ralph tweeted that your mom better watch her mouth, because after your dad's death, she spent all his money and I had to bail her out.
That's fucked.
Yes, it is.
That was horrible.
Yes, it is. Drew said that was a new low. My dad was a prominent pediatrician in the city of Chicago. Now you're coming after his character and my mom's. My mom had an anxiety attack. Her marital issues, Drew's marital issues started to affect her mom, which I can imagine it would, especially with the kids and how close she was. And I have to agree. I mean, Ralph wasn't out yet to answer for this, but that is certainly a new low. Then there was this recent clip of you and Ralph cooking together. You guys seemed okay in the clip, and everyone, kind of agreed. She's like, yeah, that was an attempt at us co-parenting. She goes, but then he put this caption, like, alluding that I was calling him, like, something about she called me daddy, alluding that they were, getting back together, or that it was more than what it was, right? And then she goes on to say that he's had women in the house when she wasn't home, and that they're like, well, how? Like, because he's got cameras, but then she's like, no, there's a gated community and she can get the list, and I know who it is. He was out
at this point, and he said it was a fitness thing.
Right. Well, that's what right. We find that out later when he does. No, he wasn't out yet. He wasn't out.
I thought he was out at this point.
No. He wasn't out yet. This is when she's talking about it. He wasn't out yet, because she goes on to say, we were at a parent teacher thing and she was there mean mugging me. He wasn't out yet. The next question is, why don't the women in this group show compassion towards Drew during her divorce like they do Porsha? And Kelly said, I was hoping that you and I could have hit it off better. And she was like, but how could we? Kelly's like, Kelly called Drew a liar. And this goes back to the whole stupid Balmain thing with the purchasing of the clothing. Drew said she purchased something. Kelly said she didn't. Drew showed her the receipt. It turned out that she purchased it, but it was being shipped to her because it wasn't in the store. So they weren't on good terms. And then Shamea jumps in and is like, well, this is a fundraiser. And the way the fundraiser works is if you don't purchase it there, she doesn't get a percentage of the receipts. And she's like,
true. That can't be true.
No, it is true. It absolutely can be true. Like if you go to, Chick-fil-A, they get 10% of the sales for the day. If you order online from another Chick-fil-A store, you're not getting 10% of those sales.
Like you can't mention this is for.
Right. Exactly. So, but like Drew said, listen, you just need to have a conversation with me. If that's what was happening, you could have just said something to me. I would have either made sure that we could get a percentage of it, or I would have made a donation myself.
Right.
Instead of you calling me a liar, I didn't lie. So how could we get into a good place if you're coming at me over something so stupid, right?
Yeah.
So that's why Drew and Kelly were like not in a good place, really over something stupid. So then Andy asks her if she's really Michael Jordan's cousin. And she says, well, in my head, I am. I'm like, okay, Drew.
What does that mean?
A viewer then asked Shamea why it was okay for her to twist Drew's words referring to Pilar, but when Angela was held to a different standard. Porsha said, well, the way it was relayed to me was different than the way it was actually said, right? So Andy asked, Porsha said when she saw what actually was said, she wasn't as mad about it because the way it was relayed to her by Shamea, it made it sound worse than it actually was because Angela told her a different version of it, right? A viewer asked Drew, you seemed upset that Shamea and Porsha went out to eat with Ralph. Isn't that hypocritical when Porsha thought it was wrong that you worked with Dennis? And it's not hypocritical because they're totally different things.
Yeah, I mean, Drew was actually working with Dennis.
Right.
They were actually working on an album. They were, and Porsha said in the first episode of the
it was
reunion
messy.
that she did it to be messy.
Right. Yes. And Shamea invited Porsha to this sit down with Ralph, right? And Shamea said that she was doing it to be a loyal friend to Porsha, right? So then they asked Drew about her and Ty. Remember Ty, the actor?
I
the
do.
actress? Yeah. So she said that her and Ty talked for about 3,000 minutes a month. And everyone's like, wow, 3,000 minutes. Drew's like, well, that's not that much time. I'm like, 3,000 minutes is a lot of damn time. What are you talking about? That's not a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now how long it is because I think it's what is it?
How many minutes a day? Well, just think about it. It's 100 minutes a day.
That's what I'm saying.
It's 100 minutes a day.
3,000?
Yeah. Right?
That's 50 hours a month.
Yeah.
What'd she say? 3,000 minutes?
Yeah.
That's 50 hours a month divided by 4. Let's see how many weeks. 12 hours a week. I mean, I don't know if I talk to that many people for 12 hours a week.
It's like an hour and a half a day. Isn't it great? Figure about an hour and a half a day.
I probably don't talk to Eric that much. I'm not going to lie.
I may not either. All right. So then they ask, who is Black? And are you dating? She said, he's my friend. He owns the #1 hookah company in the world. And Andy said, well, you guys were just FaceTiming in the backstage. She said, yeah, I mean, I have some gifts. Can I go get them? And the ladies like gifts. They like gifts. These ladies like gifts. So she goes and she hands out hookah from Black's company. She's still maintaining their friends. They're just friends, right? Then Drew was asked, like, if you're dating somebody, why didn't you just come clean on who you were dating to dispel the rumors about Dennis? And she's like, I'm not dating anybody. Like, if I was dating somebody, I would bring them on the show. I'm not dating anyone. She's like, when I have a boyfriend, Porsha said, or a girlfriend, I'll bring them on the show. And she was like, no, like she's shutting that down. Then the men come out after that whole conversation. So Dennis sits behind Porsha and Ralph sits behind Phaedra. We find out Gerald was invited, but this isn't his thing, right?
Good for Gerald.
Yeah. Andy said that he never thought he would be sitting there with the enforcer.
Me neither. So here for it.
So then it comes out about Andy asked Dennis if he spoke to Porsha about him working with Drew. And Dennis says he spoke to Ralph because Ralph's his man. And he figured that, the women could handle the women's side and the men could handle the men's side.
That's not how it works when you have a baby with somebody, Dennis, but
no.
Nice try.
Drew said, you told me you talked to Porsha and you knew that I couldn't get in touch with her. I was trying to get in touch with her. So it just proved that Dennis is the one who's lying on this whole thing. It wasn't Drew.
Totally.
It wasn't Drew.
Totally.
And called him out on it,
Yeah.
She didn't know about it. He didn't tell her. And Dennis said, Ralph is my friend in real life. And Ralph is lying, saying that Drew said that Dennis was hollering out to her. And Ralph said that he saw the text, right? Because Drew said that didn't happen.
She said, I never.
Right.
And Dennis backtracked on him saying that Drew was trying to sleep with him and
yes,
that,
he absolutely
he totally backtracked on that.
He absolutely did. Andy asked Dennis.
I don't believe Ralph for a second, by the way.
No, I don't believe Ralph. No, not one bit. I don't believe Dennis either.
No, not now.
No. So Andy asked Dennis if he sees himself getting back together with Porsha. He said, well, she's single and she's back on the market, so you never know. And then he asked, like, what's your take on Porsha and Shamea's relationship over the past year? And Dennis is like, listen, we're family for real. Like, Gerald and him were really good friends. And he knows better than to get involved, which is good. That's the right answer there.
Yeah, because he said they could be cool tomorrow.
Right. They could be beefing today and then they could be cool tomorrow. So he asked about it was rumored you took Britt out on a date and you brought her a diamond necklace and you slid into Kelly's DMs.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Dennis said, well, I heard what Kelly said, but she didn't say the rest of the half of that. That's all good. She's like, well, what's the rest of the half? He said,
Right.
that was a long time ago before I even knew Porsha, which that's kind of relevant.
Yeah.
Right.
But Kelly then said it was like business. It was about business.
Yeah. But
Which
again,
makes sense. I mean, she's in the restaurant industry and he's the hot dog king.
Right. Right. Now, Andy says to Ralph, Drew said that she found out about you bringing a woman into the basement. This is where it comes out. And Ralph said, that's not even true. She told me that she came to the house. Ralph said, that's just because she came to the gate. Doesn't mean she came inside the house. And Portia's like, what, is she visiting somebody else? Or she's just driving around the neighborhood? He's like, well, no, she came to the house, but she didn't come inside the house because we were working on some fitness program. I don't believe him for one bit. Not for 1 second. I believe her. I believe she was in the house. I believe that she was mean mugging Drew at some parent teacher thing. I believe she's a real person.
Yep.
I believe that Ralph says says to Drew, when these cameras are off, you act like you love me. But then when the cameras, come on, you act like you hate me. Like it's confusing at the end of the day. I do believe that. He said, I really love you. I do believe that he does love her, but I do believe that he's a freaking dog and he cheats on her and lies to her all the time.
And talks shit about her mother on social media.
Right. Exactly.
So how much do you love this woman?
Yeah.
If you're cheating on her
Right.
and talking shit on her mother on social media.
Right. And he says, I just want to make sure we raise our beautiful kids. And Drew said, well, those are great words. And I would love to see that energy backed up with words because you've been out in the press tour bad mouthing my mom and my dad.
Right.
Andy asked,
her deceased father.
Yes. If you apologized for what you said, Ralph said, no. He still hadn't apologized. And he said, why not? And he said, well, I was there when they lost everything and I was there to pick up the pieces. Okay.
Probably with your wife's money, Ralph, because we still don't know what you do.
Right. He said that he will apologize because he feels like, he's bigger than that. And he said that, he looked at his old texts, I guess, between her mom and him. They had a relationship. Like, I guess, they were close. I remember her, she was the pastor, she would come, like we would see them together,
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course she's going to stand by her daughter.
Of course.
Then Cynthia jumps in. I'll be honest with you. I thought, although Cynthia was out there the entire time, she had like zero part in this whole reunion.
This episode, yeah.
I thought the whole reunion.
I thought her
input was like not necessary. I mean, Andy would ask her questions
out earlier than they were going to
because of Britt. Yeah, they needed someone sitting on the couch.
Exactly.
To even it out. So Cynthia says to Ralph, just be very, very mindful what you put on social media because that brings everyone else into it. And I wrote, thank you, Captain Obvious. Like,
exactly.
Seriously, do we need that, Cynthia? Like, do we need that? Then Andy asks Charles if he watched the season, and Charles responds, yeah, I watched some shows. And I love how Charles answers the questions. He answers the questions as like he's on the witness stand. Like he answers the question and only the question, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
But I liked what he said next because Andy like calls him out for, like the fans saying like he doesn't even like his wife. Like he's like, I'm not the guy who's going to put on for the cameras and I wouldn't be here if I didn't love her. And I think that that's very clear.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I guess because of his indiscretions in the past, she's got some insecurities. But quite honestly, me watching, I see it. Like, I really think he loves her. He's had indiscretions. I mean, unfortunately, some people do. You either choose to move on and get past it, or you choose to not and you split up. Like, she made the decision and he thanks her for it later.
Yes. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And Andy gives it up to him for showing up for her. Then he brings up a lot of the ladies mentioned that they didn't know you were married. Is that something you're hiding?
That Charles was so stupid.
I loved his answer. He's like, I don't know who's married here either. What does that have to do with anything?
Right. And Phaedra knew him 10 years. That's what she said. 10 years. He wasn't married then, Phaedra.
Right. And Shamea,
Apollo wasn't preaching that he was married either when he was married to you.
That's true. That's true. And Shamea is like maintaining that she knows him because they were at a wedding together.
Listen, I like what Charles is putting down. You may have been in the same space as me, but you do not know me.
Right. Right.
So don't speak on me.
Right. And I loved even the way, like, Phaedra, I actually, for the first time, I saw Phaedra look flustered.
I totally agree with you.
And I like that Charles made her flustered because I don't normally see Phaedra flustered. She could go toes with anyone. But I'll tell you what, he had her flustered.
For
He's like,
sure.
where they met. She's like, I've been in several rooms with him. But again, she didn't answer the question. She said, well, I know Sheree very well, and I remember you were a couple. He's like, okay, we were a couple, but that doesn't mean you know me. And because she never, I've been in your presence on numerous occasions. He said, but where? Like, she couldn't answer him.
Yeah. Did you ever have a conversation with him? Did you ever call him on the phone? You don't know him.
Right. You don't know him.
You've been in the same space as him.
Right. And I think that goes back to the whole, we've been in the same rooms.
Right. 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 That is interesting that he dated Sheree for a couple of years, though, huh?
Yeah.
That must have been pre-Atlanta, like pre-Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Well, it was in 2000. Yeah.
So, because OC didn't start until 2006. So,
yeah. It was He's in 2000. Andy asked how it landed with him that the woman had a lot to say about him having an outside baby. And he goes back to explain it. They were at an event with Wendy Williams, and she's the one who turned it around and took it back to the show. Listen, he didn't feel the need to correct it. Like, he could have put out a statement back then. He could care less, right? He could care less.
That's see the difference? That was a rumor that Angela and Charles both knew weren't true.
Right.
So don't waste any energy on it. Unlike Janet and Jason on the Valley.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It was a rumor. It's not true.
Right.
So
and he
why
could
give it
have,
any energy?
He could have easily said, you know what, Wendy, my wife wasn't referring to me to. So then he brings up how the incident at MSG, how did it affect your marriage? And Angela says, like, we were separated for a time because of that. And this is when, back in 2017, that they started therapy.
Yeah.
So that they could.
I mean, what, he just got really drunk and was acting a fool, I guess.
I honestly
he's banned from MSG. He's banned.
I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
I think he started mouthing off to the owner. I'm going to have to ask Eric. He'll remember.
Yeah. I didn't bother to look it up. But
me neither. I'll just ask Eric.
Yeah. So then Andy asks, because he's going to let the husbands go, does anyone have anything else to say? And Kelly asks Ralph what her ex-husband told him. And he said, he just let me know about the circumstances of your divorce. And Kelly said she appreciates that. She turns to Drew and she says, I think it's amazing that you have a man and a husband that still wants to take care of your children, because she doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad she said that to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Drew, I don't know. Ralph
is a liar.
It's
very difficult to have an opinion on Drew and Ralph because you don't know what's real and what's not.
It's true. That's very true.
With both of them, unfortunately.
Right. So the last segment is just the ladies. And Andy said to Drew, she's happy that, Andy said to Drew that she's happy that her and Porsha got to be in a good place.
Yeah.
And asks Kelly what she's going to take away from the season. And she said to pick and choose who I'm good friends with going forward. She also says she really does hope and pray that Shamea and Porsha can rekindle their relationship. Phaedra says it was a wild 2 weeks and that Grenada was the best trip that she'd ever been on outside of Africa.
That's where Todd met Kandi.
Yes, exactly. Angela has deep gratitude for the platform and that her mom was on and can live on. Like, she got to be on the platform and that she can live on with that.
That's sweet.
And then he thanks Cynthia for keeping the train going. I love Cynthia, but again, I didn't really think, honestly, even she brought that much.
Yeah, I mean, she did great during the season, but you're right. She wasn't
in the reunion?
that instrumental in the reunion.
No.
But that's, again, I don't think she would have been out there the whole time had it not been for the uneven couch seating.
Yeah.
It was totally for the optics.
It definitely was. It definitely was. Shamea takes away to be more open and build alliances with all the ladies. I think that's called friendships.
Yeah, let's just keep the word alliances out of it.
Right. Porsha said she's had rough seasons before and nothing as transformative as this one, to be able to sit and watch yourself not be at your best. See, the fact that Porsha said that, like the fact that she can reflect, and I do see growth in Porsha. I really do. I do. I am hopeful that.
Well, we've come a long way from her,
We have.
attacking Kenya.
We have.
Physically on the one reunion. So
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And when Porsha says she's going to reflect, I believe that Porsha will actually reflect, not like Tamra saying she's going to reflect.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Shamea said, I hate the way this season went. I'll continue to love you. I'll continue to cheer for you. Porsha said, I'll put a button on that. It says, I love you to everyone on these couches, and that's not easy to say.
I hope Shamea and Porsha can get to a better place. I mean, obviously, I don't think either one of them are going anywhere. I could see them bringing everyone back that was at this reunion.
I can too.
And I hope they do, because I really liked Angela. Obviously, I like Shamea. And I really liked Kelly.
No,
I did not like Britt, so I'm not sorry to see her go. And quite honestly, I don't think we missed Kenya either.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
We really didn't.
No, we didn't.
So if we could just move forward with or without Phaedra, I know you said she already got her contract.
She already has her contract.
I think it would be real interesting to see how Phaedra moves in the next season with Charles and Angela.
I would too. And you know what? I mean, I think she's going to move differently because Charles put her in her place.
I totally agree with you. And I want to see it.
I want to see it too.
I want to see it.
So Kenya came out with a bunch. I didn't watch all of them, but Kenya, did you see this on social media? Kenya came out with a bunch of statements, some bold statements. She said that the issue that she had with Cynthia had nothing to do with her speaking up to her at the event. It had to do with her confiding in Cynthia about certain bits of information that Cynthia shared with others. And that's what she said. And she also named 2 new housewives that will be joining the Real Housewives.
Kenya did?
Yes.
Well, how would she know?
I don't know, but it's out there in the blogs. I didn't write it down. I don't have the names right here. There's people out there saying there's names out there for 2 new, and they're starting filming like within the next week or so.
I feel like they should just let it be who it is right now.
I did see the picture of the 2 women too. I don't remember who they are though. So that's what's out there. And like I said, it came from Kenya. She said that she's not coming back. She made that statement too. I don't know how much of what she's saying is true.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised about the 2 names that she dropped if those aren't the 2 names that we see.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Interesting.
And Porsha says to Andy at the end, I know you didn't get to go to my party in Nashville, and I know you've been wanting to do the fan dance. So she hands out the fans.
This was a little cringy, I'm not going to lie.
It was a little cringy. They all do the fan dance, and Andy says, well, when are we going to twerk?
Don't twerk, Andy.
Andy, don't
It'd
twerk.
be like me twerking. It's not good.
But I actually liked that they ended with a fan dance instead of a drink. I thought, they normally end with a drink, right?
That's true.
I was like, I think I'd rather do the fan dance than a drink. And that was the end of it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, because they didn't even have anybody from Atlanta on Watch What Happens Live that night, did they? Oh, wait a minute.
Sunday night. No,
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did either.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they? Because it's over.
Right.
They wouldn't. I don't know. They wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense for them to, because it's over. So that's all we have for Atlanta. So we are done recapping Atlanta. I guess until next time. Thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.